Hi guys, welcome back to the Cardists YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be introducing you to one of our new creators that hasn't featured on the channel so far. So from our first video, you might remember that Cavan Booth did a video on some tips on how to practice magic. Last week, about a week ago, surprisingly, out of the blue, Daniel Madison came onto the channel, did a really good video that explained one of his tattoos, by any means necessary, how we should apply it to our magic. Today, Stephen J Goodwin, or as you may know, S Goodwin 52 from Instagram and YouTube, Stephen's going to be talking about how we can create some really good and creative playing card photography just using a smartphone. No flashy equipment required, just a little bit of creativity and experimentation. So, really good video today, and I'll pass you over. Enjoy the video.
What's up guys, welcome to the new and improved Card In YouTube channel. My name is Stephen J Goodwin, also known as S Goodwin 52 on my Instagram and YouTube. I know what it's like when you get a new deck of cards in the mail. Oh my god, I'm so excited, we're gonna bust it open, peel back the cellophane, pull the cards out, you spread a lovely beautiful fan, you take a picture, upload it to the gram, look at the new cards I just got from the Card In. Amazing, but that photo only gets 5 likes. 5 likes. And you know you're better than that. Kind of like this photo that I put up when I first started using Instagram. You know you're better than that. But how do you set yourself apart from everyone else? Well, on today's video, I'm going to be giving you some of my knowledge about my thought process in how I take photos for the Instagram and also for the Cardins website. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh my god, this is going to be really expensive, this is going to be something that's going to cost a lot of money. It isn't. You only need a smartphone and your brain, and that's it. If you haven't already, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel, check out my channel if you like, and let's get into today's video. One of the major things that we're going to be talking about in this is just your lighting and the tone of the piece that you're trying to set. Tone is all about the theme, it's all about sort of the look, the general look. So for example, if we take Art of Play's Instagram feed and the pictures for there, so when you see this picture, you know instantly that this is an Art of Play photo because of the way that it is, the tone of the piece. Likewise, if I show you some of my pictures, each one has a similar tone going through it. That means that you set your own sort of stylistic, I don't know how you describe it, you've got your own style, so when you look at it, you know that's the thing. Likewise, when you look at art and you know that a Banksy spray painting is a Banksy painting, it's that similar thing, you're setting like your own tone around the piece. What you want to do before we do anything is not rush into this. So, you know, normally you get your cards turned up and the first thing you do is you want to take a picture and put it on your Instagram. Do not do that. Do not put it on your story either, just yet, okay? Just leave it. What we're going to do, first of all, we're going to find a good place that is full of great lighting. Anywhere near a window is probably the greatest bit that you can use. Secondly, we're going to be using a surface to create a flat lay photograph. So flat lay photography is laying everything flat down on the surface and taking a picture from above. So we want to get a good decent size canvas as such to start working with, and we want it near a well lit area like a window. Natural light works really well for these photographs. Also, gives you shadows, and it's a lot easier to manage than having to have diffusers and light bits all set up around you. So now that we've got those two things in place, we're going to start thinking about the theme of the deck. So for today's pictures on this video, and the pictures I'm going to be taking in a bit, if the light will allow me, is for these, and that is the Squeezers V2 by the Organic Playing Card Company. Now instantly I know exactly what I'm going to be doing in my head. These are yellow and blue, so there's probably going to be a yellow and blue background. As well as that, it's lemonade. It's fresh lemonade. So what we're going to do, we're probably going to have some lemons in there, and we're probably going to have some cloudy lemonade. I could just put them all together, lay it down on a bit of paper, or lay it down on the table and take a picture, and it's probably going to come out okay. But what we need to think about is the composition as we're putting it all together. First things first is we need to have a background. Now a lot of people are thinking, oh my god, backgrounds, they're going to cost me a lot of money. They really don't. For this piece, I'm actually going to use the shirt I'm wearing because I think the colours match quite nicely. The yellow is just a bit lighter than the one in my shirt, and same as the blue, so it will stand out against the backdrop. Realistically, you can use any piece of clothing that you have that you find in your house. In fact, all of these ones on my Instagram right now that I'm showing you are all t-shirts, or they are dresses or coats or jackets or jumpers that I've used, even a denim jacket as well, and gives a different kind of texture to the photograph that you're taking. So if we have a look in this image, I've used a jumper and I've twisted the jumper up to create a different layered texture with the different coloured reds going underneath. It's so simple. All you need to do is just go into your wardrobe, find a couple of things, match it all together. The next part is how we're laying out everything on the table. So we don't want everything to be too cluttered. We don't want anything to be too claustrophobic. We sort of want a bit of space between everything so you can see each of the items in there. So it really like comes together as a whole piece. If everything's on top of each other, you take the photo and there's too much negative space on the outsides, you almost just get this sort of strange feeling that the image isn't focused enough, if that makes sense. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out everything on that sort of table in a sort of way that is more aesthetic. And we're gonna take a couple of photos as well. So what I tend to do is I tend to do an in the box shot, coming out of the box, revealing the card picture. And that's like my 3 major shots that I take with everything on my Instagram feed. Kind of like the mint deck here. So we've got in the box, we've got coming out of the box, and then we've got displaying the cards in their fullest. And I think this gives a lot of character to the playing cards. Instead of them just being a bit of paper, they become something much more. So we've laid it all out, we've got everything set up, ready to take the picture, we're happy with how it looks. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our phone. And what I tend to do is I use a Samsung for this, but you can do the same on an iPhone, it's exactly the same. We're gonna be using the Pro mode on the Samsung, and I imagine there's probably something very similar on the iPhone. What we're gonna be looking at with the Pro mode is the white balance, we're gonna be looking at the ISO, and we're gonna be looking at controlling the light in the picture. Too much light, too much reflection, you're not gonna be able to see everything as clearly. Too little light, then everything's obviously going to be dark and horrible. So what I tend to do here is I tend to look at and play around with the settings as I'm looking over down at the sort of flat lay photography below me. What we're trying to gauge here is the best possible lighting conditions for these pictures. So what we're just about to take the photo, but what we need to make sure that we haven't got is a shadow from ourselves over it. So never have your back to the window and taking down on the picture, because what you're going to end up having is this massive shadowy effect over it, which could work if you're trying to achieve something like that. However, it's probably not the best sort of overall overriding thing to have. So we're happy, we've taken the photos, but we don't stop there, okay? What I tend to do now, I've taken the first photo, is I use, especially if we're using phones for this, I like to use VSCO, upload the image in there and just have a little play around with the saturation, play around with the contrast, the sharpness, just to make sure it's 100% how I want it. Now, what I will say with VSCO is you get a lot of great filters with them, not having to pay anything, which is great. If you do want to use VSO like Premium or X, whatever it's called, do use it, perfectly fine. It works absolute wonders, and trust me, you get like a different set. You can just create so much more with your image. So we take the picture, I put it into VSCO, have a little look through it, check on the saturation, check on everything like that, make sure it's all cool. If it's great, wicked, I take the rest of the photos. Bearing in mind, I'm using natural light, the whole process in VSCO tends to be really quick for me now because I fine-tuned it. But what I will have a little warning of is maybe snap a couple of pictures of the different bits that you want, because the light can change so quickly. So I set up, ready to film earlier, like I'm doing right now. I've got my window to the side of me here, so I'm getting the light on the face. It was a bright, beautiful day. I turned away, I grabbed something, I came back, clouds are now over, so I've had to improvise and create a little bit more light in the environment so that I can film properly and you can actually see me. So that is my biggest tip, is the lighting, is make sure that you've got full control of that. Now I know you're using natural light, but you need to own it. You need to own it and have it and just, that's yours. So, we've spoken about all those things, and now this is the finished product for the Squeezers V2. Okay guys, so I know that I went over that pretty quickly, but it's very simple. We're gonna go through the steps one more time. So we need to make sure that we have good lighting. We need to make sure that we have a good surface to take pictures on. We need to have a background, which, trust me, just use some clothing. It works absolute wonders and gives you so many different colors, patterns, and textures. 4, we need to think about the props that we're using in the deck, what relates to it. So for example, I'll be using lemons for the squeezers. It makes sense. If I was to be putting all sorts of fruit in there, it'd be kind of a bit random. 5, we're gonna be making sure that nothing's too crowded in the middle and that the composition is good. And then as we take the photo, we're just making sure that we're not casting any shadows, that's number 6, onto the flat lay picture. So guys, I hope these have really helped in terms of how you think about taking your photos. If you have enjoyed this content, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you do drop a comment down below. If you want to see anything else or you have any questions for me, I'm sure that I can answer the questions in the comment section down below. And as well as that, make sure you check out my Instagram and my YouTube. Hopefully they will be left in the link in the description down below. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed my first video on the card in. Make sure that you go across to the website, you pick up some decks, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye!
big thank you to Stephen Goodwin for doing that really, really good video. If you didn't notice already, Stephen, if you look on the Cardins Instagram page, we've actually have a series of Stephen's photos. We have Squeezers V2, we have the Black Rose Altroza, and just recently we have Fluid and Play Dead. And these are all over our Instagram stories and some of our Instagram posts as well. So if you haven't noticed that, check out on the Cardins Instagram. I've put Stephen's YouTube channel and his Instagram in the description below, so make sure you check out Stephen's channel. He's got some really, really good content. So thank you to Stephen for that video. I also forgot in the first video, I forgot to add it on to the end. Thank you to Cavan Boo for his first video for the channel as well. And something you should know about Cavan's channel, in December, Cavan is doing a video every other day. So in December, Cavan is probably going to be coming out with maybe 15, 16 YouTube videos maybe. And his channel's really starting to take off. He's got some fantastic content as well. It's the reason why we've got Cavan and Stephen on the channel. So big thank you to our two creators so far. Daniel Madison, of course, as well. Maybe before Christmas, we might be introducing a third and fourth creator. We'll just have to see how things go. So let us know in the comment section what you thought of this video. Make sure you give Stephen, Cavan a follow, a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.